Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to our first episode of Let's Talk Football. I go by the name of Samuel Kankolongo, and today we have the privilege to have, I can call him in Bontet, Coach Randy Luca, who's an owner of a football academy. So today we're going to have an amazing talk about what's hindering African football as well as Congolese football. Good day, Coach.
Good day, Sam.
What's up?
Nothing much. How are you?
Can't complain. As
good,
always, we give thanks to the Lord.
Amen. Thanks.
So, quick one.
Yes.
In your opinion, what's hindering African football?
Well, there's so many things that are hindering African football. I'll say firstly is we have people that are not supposed to be where they are.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of we have a lot of hindrances when it comes to African football because so many factors are affecting the progress of football in general. At times it's political things, at times it's money going in different pockets instead of going to the benefits of the advancement of African football. So we just have a lot of challenges that are hindering African progress in terms of, African football moving forward.
So is it safe to say that CAF is not helping the growth of African football?
Absolutely not. I feel like CAF in the past few years with the new president, things have evolved. He has put in proper structures and he has hardened things in order for each federation to make sure that they are progressing into their own, places. But unfortunately, some people are still running behind. He's trying to make everyone catch up, to good standard. But then as a federation, you are responsible for your own progress as well. Yeah. So some federations, unfortunately, are not coming to the party, which makes it very difficult for everyone to progress at the same time.
But now, we all watched Jimmy Carragher saying not once, but twice that the AFCON is not a big competition. And then, boom, the final of the AFCON in Morocco might be something that prove that he had a solid point. What's your view on that?
I beg to differ.
Okay.
I don't agree with him at all. Not even a bit. Yes, we might have our own challenges, but he has no rights to say that African football is meaningless. Look, we produce great players in the world. In fact, he's not even in a better position. There are better African players than him, first of all.
He mentioned the AFCON, not criticizing the fact that we have a lot of federations and stuff. But now, when we're speaking of the AFCON, and Jimmy Carragher spotted something to say, okay, you know what? According to him, AFCON is not a big tournament or a big competition.
I disagree with him.
Now, let's go slowly, right? But now, the event that took place in the final of the African Cup of Nations in Morocco might give him the power to actually say his statement is right.
Okay. Jimmy Carragher first spoke prior to the final. He criticized the AFCON before that final, before the incident that we had. So during that process, for me personally, I didn't agree with him. AFCON is one of the biggest competition in the world.
100%.
To be quite honest with you, you can't compare the AFCON with the American leagues, what is it called again? I think it's a Copa America.
Yeah.
You can't compare, unfortunately, with the viewers, with the excitement, with all that. The AFCON is really big because we are producing one of the best players in Europe. Now, coming to the final that happened in Morocco, yes, that kind of gave him some ingredients to just top up with what he said earlier. But what happened in Africa in the final was really unfortunate. I feel like it was not managed properly. Seeing that it was a final, I also understand the referees and the match officials to not call. So actually, so many things happen, during that process. I don't know who to blame, to be honest with you. I don't know who to blame. But what happened was really unfortunate. At the same time, we feel, in my own opinion, we feel like Morocco was given, throughout the competitions. I saw it for myself. It looks like they gave them the cup on a silver platter. Like every game that you see, as they were growing game by game, you kept seeing that they were favoring. It looks like it was scripted. For them
like
to reach the final. Yes, like you're just watching something that was already written. So I understand the Senegalese point of view because it was becoming too much, and we all saw it as well. But hey, it is what it is. I don't know what happened, but yes, we gave Carragher some ingredients with what happened. We gave him talking points and to make his points valid with what happened, but it doesn't take the fact that African Cup of Nations is still one of the biggest in the world, in Africa and in the world as well.
True. I really like what you said, but look, why is it that CAF had to wait for so many months so that they can give a verdict while Senegal was already crowned champion on the field of play?
Man, there are so many things that has been happening in CAF. I'm just not going to blame their head because they have every department to deal with certain things. And in my opinion, after the final, I saw they sanctioned Senegal, they sanctioned the coach, they sanctioned so many people.
And they were talking about Article 85, I think. But now, if that was the case, why didn't they implement it right there? Because apparently
that's
the
what the problem
players left the pitch. But now, why don't you implement it right there and have to wait for 3 months after the competition?
Look, that's when you know that Africa, we still have to evolve as well. In as much as we have progressed, but we have to evolve, which means the decision makers, because it's a different entity into football as well. So for me, it didn't make sense at all. The referee is the main man on the field. For me, what should a referee have done then was to either call off the game, because when you look at the rules of the game, if you walk off the field, the ref blows the whistle. That's it. No questions about
100%.
it. I feel like if the referee blew the whistle right there, no questions asked, Morocco champion.
100%.
But then the ref did not blow the whistle, which means the game was on. The referee called the players back on the field. They played that 1 minute. They missed the penalty. Morocco was happy to play the penalty. If Morocco was not okay, they were going to say, you know what? They walked off and it was going to be done. And the worst part is, in the rule book, the ref didn't use his powers. If a player leave the field without your knowledge, yellow card. You are supposed to cut everyone before entering the field of play.
100%.
He just went on with the game. So there are so many discrepancies in between them. And then the game went on. They missed a penalty. They went to extra time. They had time. It went the way it went. But it's actually insulting the African football, coming back
100%.
3 months later and say, no, actually the rule was not applied. You are not the rule. The rule was the ref right there. He's the made man. And the rule also states that whatever the ref has done cannot be undone.
That's the thing.
The ref has blown the whistle, the game has gone on, Morocco lost. So the ref wrote his own report that Morocco lost, and the referee's report is higher than anyone else's report. So I don't know why we're coming back 3 months later and say well, Article 84, whatever. That's unfortunately.
That's the thing. So according to me, the best AFCON that I've watched was the one in Cote d'Ivoire.
Absolutely.
For me, that was the best. That was the best.
The quality of refs.
Everything was just perfect. You know, even when you're looking at the attendance of supporters, like the ambiance was just there. But now, okay, I got no problem, no personal issues with Moroccans, but I felt like they were not just there. And truth be told, when you go to Northern Africa as a black African, you're not really considered African. That's a pity. Unfortunately.
Not only that,
unfortunately,
they think they are African Pro Max.
And that's
the problem with Northern African brothers. Actually, while I was still playing in Turkey, I met, I think, a Moroccan boy. I was like, hey, wait, you good? The guy told me, no, I'm actually from Morocco. I'm like, oh, my African brother's like, just look at me like, okay.
Because you're black.
Yeah, look, it didn't make sense to him that he's African. I'm the one that I had to remind him. It's only later on that I realized these people actually, they think they are better. And when you look at the AFCON in the northern part of Africa, it's not the same. There's almost hostility. So many things are just being involved into football.
Which is bad, because look, when you're looking at the celebration, when the Senegalese were celebrating their victory and stuff, it was a pity to see that in the 21st century, our so-called African brothers posting on their social medias, referring to Senegalese players as baboons, as monkeys. It was painful because look, we are Africans and we call it African Cup of Nations, meaning we are one. All together we are one. We are born from the same mother, which is Mother Africa. So now why are we different? You can be white, I can be black, but as long as we are in Africa, that makes us Africans.
Man, when you start talking about racism and stuff, I take it personal because
same as myself, but
I've experienced it myself. So when we talk about racism, for me, I take it very much personal. I know what it feels like to be, to be called a racist. And I do not expect anybody to call me a racist in Africa. This is my land. This is my continent. I was called names, not in Africa, but but I guess we'll talk about it at a later stage. But it's disgusting, what happened to our brothers that side. Disgusting. This should never happen in football, because I saw the Senegalese fans were also attacked, but CAF didn't do anything about it. We saw the non-sportsmanship of players in Morocco stealing towels. How can a player go stand next to the goalkeeper, next to the goal?
So what was the most stealing towel?
Like, you can just see that this is beyond football. I understand the passion, but come on, man. This is football.
It's crazy.
Win on the field. If you have to lose like a man. You can't go there on the field trying to do anything you want, stealing towel. It's just a damn towel, bruv.
And I don't know, I was reading something and a journalist said that the CAF president is a puppet to the FIFA president. And he started giving his argument. Okay, when you actually check the argument, you can say he's right. And the question was asked to the president of CAF himself. And we all saw his reaction. He didn't like it. And we saw what happened. So is it safe to say that our CAF president is a puppet to FIFA?
No, I will back him up. I don't know him personally, but I know what he has done for Africa. And we have to be grateful. We have to learn how to appreciate our own.
100%.
For me, I feel like Motsepe has done he has done more good than bad in terms of the progress of our football. Remember, this guy does not take any salary. Okay, he does not. Look, he's well off. is there for football alone because he's passionate. We've seen it with his own club, how he has progressed. So I wouldn't say he's a puppet, but FIFA is the main governing body. FIFA dictates all these CAF in Euro and all that. They dictate how things should work out. So if FIFA wants something that Africans should do, I feel like you're gonna have to bend. Same thing as in America, in North America or South America. FIFA is the governing body. So I wouldn't call it puppets, but I would just call it more of a collaboration. If things needs to go left and everyone has voted that they have to go left, he has no choice.
Yeah.
But to call him a puppet, to say that he's just a puppet of FIFA, no. I don't know. I don't believe in that.
But now when you're looking at the revenue of if we have to compare the revenues for both last AFCONs, Cote d'Ivoire made more money than Morocco.
Look, first of all, looking at how Ivory Coast is placed as opposed to Morocco.
Cote d'Ivoire, they don't like being called Ivory Coast.
Oh, Cote d'Ivoire.
Thank you.
Yes. Thanks. So when you look at là où ils sont placés d'abord, it's most of, it was more accessible to Africans, Black Africans, how it is, it's well placed as well for people to go in and out easily as opposed to Morocco, because I feel like the way you are centered as well, or the way you are placed, plays a key role in terms of the accessibility of your country as well. If you are placed a little bit more in the middle, it's easier for everyone to flock in, rather than going all the way north. It's a little bit difficult, for someone to come from South Africa to go all the way there. I feel like, yes, Moroccans are more passionate, but we saw a different side of Cote d'Ivoire's people. They flocked in even games that, actually small countries, they flocked in. And we saw the quality in terms of the pitch. I was amazed. We saw the quality in terms of refs. It was totally different. At some point, even European wanted to learn from Africans. For the first time, we watched the AFCON without referees making blunders.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that AFCON was one of the best AFCON I've watched. In terms of refereeing, the pitch, the people, everything just went to the T. As opposed to, on the other side, it felt like it was scripted. We're just going there to watch a movie. Unfortunately, it looked like a movie to me.
And I'm just happy for the fact that as a continent, we're now moving to a right direction.
Thanks to who?
Yeah, of course, thanks to Dr. Patrice Motsepe.
Absolutely.
And do you really think that the upcoming AFCON will stand out to be the best? Because we have 3 hosts, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania.
Absolutely. First thing first, like I said to you, where you are placed. Okay, so this is more of a Central African AFCON, which means the accessibility will be huge.
Yeah.
Which means I'm not expecting a single game to be empty.
Yeah.
Because all these people from all over just around the countries will flock in there easily. And I think it's gonna be a visa-free countries, just to flock in there. So I'm expecting it to be massive. And the fact that CAF has implemented the rules in terms of stadiums, the stadiums have to be absolutely amazing. So I'm not worried.
Look at the stadium that Kenya is building.
Ooh.
I was amazed.
Ooh.
Wow.
Man.
Our football is actually changing.
It is progressing. It is progressing, to be honest.
It's just unfortunate in Congo, we still amateurs. It's a pity, but what can we do?
You know what? That country, there are people, to change things. They are there. We are there to do it.
But who's going to give you the opportunity?
That's where the problem is. It's not really having opportunities. We want people to change. It's just some people have sat there and they told themselves, this is how we're going to run in mediocrity. and they are comfortable with that. And the worst part is the people that are accompanying them are also just watching.
In 21st century, we have un comité de normalisation. Wow.
For how long? For how many years?
We don't have elections. We don't have a president. We don't have a body. So we are dictated by FIFA on how to govern our own football.
If you can lead your own house, your neighbor will come and tell you how to live. That's what's happening in Congo.
That's crazy. And okay, you know, no, not in a bad way. I have no personal issue with the former General Secretary of CAF, Mr. Vernon Mosengo. But there are certain things that you say on media that will make people who are intelligent think twice.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm voted, if I'm given FECOFA, la FECOFA sera un paradis sur terre.
Mm-hmm.
Messieurs, c'est le football.
Yes.
Le football se joue sur la terre.
Okay.
So you cannot tell me that you failed at some point in CAF and then come and make a federation that is totally dead paradise. Mm-hmm. How do you go about it? There are certain things when you say you must think twice, because not everyone is a fool to sit there and just listen to what you're saying without thinking or asking himself questions.
Yes.
Because at some point, like I said, I have nothing personal against him, but at some point he failed.
Look, there are pros and cons to it. You know, he feels like he can succeed like everyone else, you know. But by the way, today I read that it's the last day for everyone to put their names.
100%.
So looks like the elections are finally going through.
Yeah. But you know, it's a pity. Again, personally, I wanted a person like Shabani Nonda to also postulate, mm-hmm. or maybe see Yusuf Mulumbu as well postulate. Why? Mm-hmm. They were good leaders.
Yes.
They were good players.
Absolutely.
And the good thing with both of them is that they lived in Europe, mm-hmm. they played in Europe. Mm-hmm. So they actually have a different idea
mm-hmm.
on how to do things. Aziz Makukula for me is also not a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point he insulted us in our faces. So a person like that, you know, coming back to also take part or try to lead a federation can raise a lot of questions, and negative questions as well.
Okay, I'm gonna start with Veron. Okay, since you started with him. For me, when I look at all the candidates, profiles, you know, I listen to them speaking. I'll probably pick the best two. For me, number one is Mr. Veron. Why? I'm gonna break it down. With him, first of all, he has worked at the highest level. He has worked in the biggest platform in Africa and in the world. What the Congolese football need, we don't need an apprentice. It needs someone with knowledge. It needs someone that has seen. Hold on.
I disagree.
No. Let me finish. You just mentioned Yusuf and Nonda saying that they lived in Europe, they know the pros and cons and all that. So is the current guy.
Mm-hmm.
Veron is Swiss. He grew up mostly in Europe, and you know, he has a different mindset. This is what the Congolese football need. It just need someone different, because we have the same people who keep coming back and back and back, and they are working with the same circle, the same people, and we realize that we are not moving forward. But no. For me, I feel like it needs a different person. Why I'll put Veron first? Because he knows where to go in terms of our football. He knows exactly which door to knock in terms of uplifting our football, because that football is non-existent at the moment. It needs someone new to just come and put it at least, you know, at a certain point. Aziz, well, he had his hiccups here and there. He chose to play for, you know, the other country, and then later on he wanted to play for Congo, I think. but it didn't work out because it was a bit late and stuff like that. For me, I'm not looking at that. It could have happened to anybody. For me, what interests me is he has worked as an ambassador in the Congolese football.
Federation, yeah?
Yes, in the Congolese, federation. He brought some players and he's working for the benefit of Congolese football. For me, that's enough. I'm not going to go through what happened before, because it could have happened to anyone. For me, even if Claude Makelele had to come back and say, I want to be president, I would not have a problem with that just because he played for France. We need people with heads. We just don't need someone who played football. It's not enough for you to play football and say, I want to be president. But we need to hear you. What is your plan? Where have you worked? What have you done in the past? We don't want to put someone there because of the name, because he played in Europe. Even what I also preferred Mulumbu and all these people because we saw what they do in the back room.
100%.
I personally wanted an ex-footballer like him. Mulumbu is more vocal.
Yeah.
He was vocal on and off the field. He's still a leader up to now. I really wanted that. Nonda is a little bit quiet. He's more hidden. We don't know what he thinks. We don't know what he does. He's not on social media at all. You'll never see him speak. So I don't know what he's thinking. Everyone just goes, Nonda. But has he ever said anything before? Was his plan to ever be a president? I don't know.
But no, wait. When you spoke of we do not want an apprentice, where do you think one will get the experience? Because look, not every apprentice is dumb or stupid. No.
Okay.
Do you understand? You need to start somewhere. Right. For instance, just the way you hear, you have never worked for any federation. You have never worked for any football federation. So you're an apprentice.
Yes, I am.
100%.
Yes.
But the difference is your head is working far different compared to people who are in places and they are dumb. You see, so now that's why I'm saying I will disagree with you on that point to say that we do not want an apprentice. No, because there you are there, not having any experience on how to govern a federation. So you will be an apprentice. You learn while you're on the job, but with a vision that's actually well put in place. That's how now you come up with a team that will escort you to accomplishing whatever you have to accomplish.
Sam, I'll tell you one thing, bro. If you've never paid rent in your life before, it's very difficult for you to just even manage a big company.
Yeah, true.
You need to start somewhere.
100%.
You can't just wake up in the morning, boom, you are leading the federation. Bruv, we have problem with people that have never, their first jobs is, to be a, I don't want to mention names. let me close that gap. Let me close it. The fact is, we don't want you to have your first job as the Congolese president, because that is a very delicate place.
100%.
We are at a very delicate times where the football needs to grow. We need to move forward. We don't need someone to come and learn at the job. We don't have time anymore. Otherwise, it's gonna take us time for him to learn and it's at the moment we need someone who's a bit more hot. He knows where to go and knock. Because if you need someone new, sorry, no, so hold on. Just imagine putting me a CAF president right now. Trust me, with my knowledge, I don't think football is gonna progress. You know why? No one knows me.
Yourself.
No. I'm gonna be frank with you. Okay, before you tell yourself I'm going to lead 1, 2, 3, you need to know, where am I going to knock? Because we need sponsors. We have no sponsors, bruv. We don't have sponsors at all. Where am I gonna knock? I don't know at the moment. I'm not gonna go there and say Sizobona Pambil.
Yeah.
We'll see it up there. No. I have to know already. If I'm the president, here's where I'll go, here's where I'll go, here's where I'll go. Those are the things that Congolese football need at the moment. We don't need someone to come and learn, start knocking, and they say no. We want someone who knows his way about.
100%.
Because we need more than just football. We need our promotion to be big. Just like Mutsepe has worked on Africa. He has increased money. Why? Because he knew where to go knock. He knew that if I knock here, already he's a billionaire where he is. So it's very easy for someone to open for him. Unfortunately, if you don't have money in your pocket, bro, those will be closed.
100%.
So therefore, we need someone like Eto'o. Eto'o can go to any door just by looking at him. That is, him. He has his own charisma. If that guy walks in a room, you feel like there's someone who's here. We need someone bigger than that. For me, it's not enough. If you're an apprentice, please don't go there. Right now, as we speak, we need someone like Veron, who's knowledgeable, who can go to Infantino and be like, hey, guy, this is what we need on the other side. Infantino can easily tell him, go that side and knock, because they already have that relationship.
100.
For the benefit, not my benefit, for the benefit of the country. Maybe at the later stage when things are finalized, because when you look at even our texts, those texts have to be changed. Because a lot of issues in the FECOFA was built for someone to run presidency for many years. So many things have to change. So we need someone to come and stabilize first things. We don't have to go to paradise yet. We don't have to go to paradise first. We have to come on earth first.
100%.
Because we are not on an earth at the moment.
Yeah.
We are still underground.
Because look, if we're talking about money, now there is money.
Wait.
Let's go slowly.
Okay.
As you said, football has evolved and so forth and so forth. Back in the days, 2008, 2009, 2010, the Congolese League was amongst the top 3 or 5. Mazembe has proven it. We are in a season. Vita Club played the final. TP Mazembe played the final. It was just unfortunate Vita Club couldn't win it. But back then, money was not like now.
Yes.
But now, why is it that there's money now? Our league is totally messed up. But back then, there was no money, but the league was performing. So what's the problem? What's going on?
You know what? It's a very complex topic, to be honest with you, because, like I said, instead of us taking it from where it was back in the days, we went 50 years behind.
And which is bad, because when they're referring to Congolese League, it's not even semi-professional. It's amateur.
Bro, for me, if you have to place it right now, it's not even amateur. Social league.
So it's a problem. Just think of it.
Social
in the
league.
first century, we only have 2 teams in the country that have a data analyst. It's a pity when you're looking at all these teams. Like, look, TP Mazembe has everything: academy, stadium. Now, second position, Les Aigles du Congo with President Vijay Chimanga.
Yeah,
they have the same thing. Look at Lupopo; they don't have an address. Look at DCMP; they don't have an address. Look at
address is even better.
They have nothing.
Do they even have an email address?
So the crazy part is, I was once in Congo and I was invited on radio. I asked this guy, because he was making a lot of noise. I just asked him a question. Okay, cool. I live in South Africa. At least each team has a head of scout. They are well known. Can I ask you? He's like, okay, cool. Who's the head of scout of AS Vita Club? He started mumbling. Like, you see, so we behind. Let us not compare ourselves with other leagues. It's so crazy. For instance, a team like Marumo Gallant. Let's just take Marumo Gallant, right?
Which is
history-wise, nothing.
No history. I mean, it's a new club.
AS Vita Club, but Marumo Gallant has a training base. Marumo Gallant has an address. Marumo Gallant is well structured. AS Vita Club, one of the biggest club in Congo. No physical address, no head of scout. Each person is not a head of scout. Il faut que vous soyez bien. It does not work like that. When you're scouting a player, there's a database to follow. Go ask a Congolese person, what is a database? They don't know. But now, how do you want our football to grow? Look at DCMP. It's a pity. A team that was once known to create magicians like Yombala Biscot, Sadami Longonga Sanya, Gladys Bokese, Ebunga Saule. You name all those players. Now, the team is dead.
Look, there are so many factors. Honestly, it's really painful when you look at that era to now.
And back then, mind you, there was no money like now. There was no money like now. But now there's money. Still, our league is non-existent. Why? Because we have people in places who are not supposed to.
That's the main problem. That's where we started from. I told you, people are in places where they're not supposed to be. It's not enough for you to love a team and say you have money, you want to become a president, because I've seen so many times they are changing presidents, just like, you know, that they are changing president more than they change their jerseys. Honestly speaking, because it's painful because a team cannot change a president anyhow.
Look at a team like Lupopo, FC Lupopo, last season knocked out El Merreikh, giant in the continent. Knocked out Pirate, giant in South Africa.
At home, yeah.
They knocked Pirate out. And guess what? The players did not want to play because they are 3 months late. And
in
mind
payment.
you, they went to see the governor of the province to sort them out. So you cannot govern a team without a vision. And in Congo, as long as politicians will be in power in clubs, let me tell you the truth,
we'll never
our
go anywhere.
football will never progress.
We'll never go anywhere. For as long as politics are in football,
like a football team with no sponsors. How do you generate money? How do you sell jerseys?
I'll tell you something. Especially in Congo, politics or politicians are not there for long. If you have a club president or a politician, you are heading straight into the wall.
True.
Because whenever this guy is not going to be in power, you are dead. The same president of Lupopo, who was an ex-governor, who's no longer a governor, what happened to them? He's no longer the president. Well, he's no longer the governor. Now they are not paid. So the question that I'm trying to raise is, where was he getting the money from to pay them?
Good question.
Because a club has to generate money. The club needs to generate its own money for sustainability. Where was he getting his money from to pay players to do all that? And the worst part is, you guys don't have a stadium.
Pity.
You don't have a stadium. How do you generate money?
Not even a training ground.
You don't even know. Apparently they have one. I'm not sure if it's theirs.
It's theirs, but look at the condition of it. They still have to build, cut grass and build, arrange, fix everything. So
no, but I saw they were training somewhere else on the turf, on that artificial turf. Isn't that their ground?
From where? They were training at Kibasama Liba Stadium.
Look, already it's...
Since you were born in Lubumbashi, have you ever seen Lupopo with a training ground?
No. I think they had one. Back then. I'm not sure if it's still there, but then look, the point that I'm trying to raise here is there are teams that are not serious in football. They are giants by name, but not giants in terms of sustainability. You know, at the moment, TP Mazembe is probably the only team in DRC that can be called a team at the moment, because they have history, they have been there for many years. Lupopo has been there for many years, but look at their
same problem.
You know,
today they are fine, tomorrow they're not.
They went to CAF not so long ago. After how long? I don't even remember. For the first time they went into CAF, I think second time.
This is the first time Coach G took charge and they went through the group stage. First time.
Look, for me, I'll go first to the roots. The main problem is the federation first. Because some teams are not supposed to be called teams. Some teams are supposed to be called an organization. 100%. Not a team yet. Because for you to be a club, a football club,
100%.
There are so many factors to follow.
100%.
And who should regulate that? It's more like us being here. I can't call my team a football club as yet. It's a development team. It can only become a football club once I filled in all the requirements to be a football club, which means you need to have money, 100. You need to have a president, you need to have a board. Even with us, we have a board, by the way. But if I ask you, some teams in the DRC don't have a board. Board of director.
It's a problem.
It's a process, it's a structure, and it's a must for us to have it. It's a must. If you want to register like we did, they are telling us who's the president and who are the board of directors, who's the secretary, who's who. In the DRC, they just call someone who likes the club. Do you want to be a secretary? Come. Yeah, you'll be there. And then tomorrow they don't like you anymore. Out, my friend. They just bring, it's still amateur to the highest level. From the federation all the way to the bottom. I blame them because there are so many teams that are supposed to be amateur teams. You create an amateur league for them.
100%.
Honestly speaking, and leave the League One for professionals, people that wants to be there.
100%.
And who's supposed to regulate these things? The football governing body. They are also amateurs. That's why we are where we are. They are in the mud, bruv. Aigle du Congo, they are coming up. I really love them. I follow them. I see what they do. You can see the vision behind it. It's not big yet, but you can see the vision behind it. And the guy that's leading them, cool guy. You can actually speak to him. Cool guy. He can literally tell you what his vision is. I've seen. And those are the probably two teams that are trying their best. They have a home base. They have an email address. Because it's really sad, because if you are sanctioned today, they have to send it via email. Remember, Congo had a problem. I think due to Congo lost against Sudan in the build-up to the World Cup. But there was a player, I think a Sudanese player, who wasn't supposed to play. Do you know what the mess was? Congo was supposed to send an email to CAF to notify that this player was not eligible. Guess what? No email address.
No, you're kidding.
I'm telling you the truth.
You're kidding me, man.
That player, that player had a, I'm not sure if he was from, I think he was from England or something like that. He didn't change his nationality fully. By the way, after that game, he has never played for the country again because of that same issue. Because he had issues actually with his, documents. But guess what? Time even passed.
But no, wait. If that's the case, then how did we manage? Because I think the Congolese national team was awarded some points. I forgot against what country, and they notified CAF. So now, if that's the case, how did they notify CAF without an email address? Because that was before the game against Sudan, and everyone was praising this great man by the name of Dodo Landu, I think. They were praising him because he's the guy who followed. I don't know if it was against Congo Brazzaville or I really forgot. I forgot. It's really not clicking in my mind. But anyways, so now, not really think that was the problem, or maybe they just sent the email late. But truth be told, at least
apparently, I followed an interview somewhere. They asked one of the guys, I don't know who, did you guys send it? They're like, yes, but we didn't have internet.
Nah, I don't really buy that story.
No. You know what? At the end of the day, fact is, there was an amateur thing that happened. something really silly happened within that issue. Something as basic, something silly really happened, and they didn't really tell us the truth over it, because we heard it's an email that was not sent on time. It was sent, but there was no internet, something of that nature. It's just that it wasn't published, because if it was published, there would have been a riot. Everyone was going to be pissed, because there was a case there. There was a case that was supposed to be sent. I think you sent it 42 hours after the game or something like that.
I think it was about the time frame, but the email now that's too drastic.
At the end of the day, who came up with the idea of this player was not eligible to play? It's them. So the question is, they know they work there. Sam, if you know where you work, what you're supposed to do, after this podcast, you're supposed to send email to so and so and so.
100%.
It's very simple. It's basic. You're not going to tell me that you picked up the mistake. We, on the other side, we know that you're supposed to send it 48 hours after the game, but you end up sending it 50 hours after, or 2 or 5 days later. Do you think you're going to get anything out of it? Absolutely not.
Of course.
So which means it's amateur. I'll call it amateur because look at the Nigerians, how they went after Congo. After 2 days, they wrote whatever they wrote, even though it didn't make sense, but you saw, they went straight in, and they have an aura. They were hurt. I feel like Congolese people, whenever they have to go to CAF, it's just as someone very tiny that they don't even have to listen to. It's just send the letter. They're like, my friend, get out of here. That's what I'm saying at Congolese Federation. We need people with heads. You enter a room, everyone stand up. Same thing as Morocco. 3 months later, they heard them. You know why? They have a say. They have someone in CAF who has value. They value the president of the federation in CAF. They respect him. But some of them fear him. Now, this is what we need. This is what Congolese people need. You enter a room, someone like Veron, he can enter it anyway because he knows he has the keys to those doors. He doesn't even have to be welcomed because as soon as he enters, everyone recognizes him. Oh, okay, that's him.
But now remember, the president of the Moroccan Federation is the vice president of CAF.
That's what I'm saying. We need someone of influence. Congo needs someone of influence in order to make it. Football also has some politics behind it. We all know that. Football has politics. So we need people with influence as well.
But don't you think it's a bit biased because for Vernon Mosengo to apply at the position of president of our federation, he had to resign as the general secretary. So I'm just asking. So the Moroccan Federation president is the vice president of CAF. How does that work?
Okay, so with Veron, according to FIFA and CAF law, there's an age. There's a certain age that you can't pass. I'm not sure if it's 50. I think Veron is over that, but it's because of his age. That's the reason why he's resigning. Okay, he's actually resigning because of that.
Okay.
Yeah, because of the age limit actually. Okay. But then when it comes to the federation, there's no limit. You can see we had the ex-president of the Congolese Federation who once occupied the intermediary of the CAF president at some point. Yeah. So what do you say about that?
Yeah, I get you.
He was there as a vice president of CAF at some point. And at some point, he became president temporary. So he had influence, but it didn't really help, the Congolese people. For me, the Congolese Federation needs someone of influence, someone who knows where to go. For me, the people in Congo, the ones that are, the ones that want to be president, it's good. Big up to them. But unfortunately, at the moment, for me personally, we need bigger people.
Congratulations to the Congolese national team after 52 years.
Yes.
They finally made it to the World Cup.
Yes.
It was a childhood dream for a lot of players, even for the people of Congo.
Supporters.
But, first question. do you really think that Congo will make it out of that group stage? Reason why I'm asking is because most of the people who are helping our team with goals are defenders.
That's the bigger problem that the national team has. Unfortunately, we don't have scorers. For many years after Mbokane left, that era, Yobokila left, we saw what they did. Those guys were ruthless. They were ruthless, especially when you play Mbokane, Bokila, Kebano, Bolasi, Mabwati. You know, you saw Makiadi, Mulumbo, that generation, Mulunge. Those people gave us goosebumps. You know, we knew that here we'll score 4 goals. But now when you look at the national team, we're winning 1-0, 2-1, 1-0. And when you look at the people that are scoring, mostly.
Don't you think it's also maybe the philosophy of the coach? Because look, let's take it this way. The former coach, not to mention names, had maybe no style of play, but the team was scoring. Now the current coach,
who's that?
Has I'm quoting it. I'm not saying that it's an analysis that I made, but I'm quoting from what people are saying. The former coach,
yes,
a father that I love and respect, Florent
Ibenge,
according to so many people, yes, he had no philosophy of play. I'm not saying it's me, right? So they said, and I quote, the coach had no philosophy of play, but the team was scoring.
Okay.
So the Sabre has a philosophy of playing, but the team does not score. So it's more about what the coach wants at the end of the day. Because Bakambu was with Florent Ibenge, he's still with the Sabre as well.
Yes.
Some players were with Papa Florent Ibenge, are still with the Sabre.
True.
So when we quote, is it safe to say it's all about the coach philosophy, or it's just a period?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Ibenge for me is one of the brightest coaches I've seen in Africa.
100%.
Smart guy, huh?
Right now.
Smart guy. I don't know him personally, but I follow his,
do you know, not to catch you off there, when he took the reign, at some point our national team
was 100 and something.
No. When he took charge, he took us from 133rd to number 39.
Number 30, even beyond, I think.
And in Africa,
we were third. I think it was third.
We moved 6th, but we're not,
we're actually top 10.
100%.
Yes.
So you see, when people criticize him, sometimes I say to myself, they don't know football.
No, they don't.
They do not know football.
As a coach, I know what he tried to do there. At times we see things that people don't see.
And he was taking a lot of risks.
Look, the conditions that he was in as well. No one speaks about the conditions.
Players would sleep in the airport. No hotel, nothing.
Look,
he accepted.
Without a salary, by the way, for many months. So I would never criticize Ibenge. Yes, he had his ups and downs here and there. When you look at the lineup, you're like, oh my God. But he had a vision. The main point was to win. Okay,
100%.
No matter what you like, it doesn't matter how you put. The end goal is to win. People wanted to see flair. People wanted to see their favorite players, rather than focusing on the end goal, which Ibenge brought. The end goal was to take us from 100 and something to put us under the first 50 in the world. And he did it. And he was very lucky. During his era, he was very lucky. Not only that, let's not forget he's Congolese, but he's also French. He's someone that grew up in France.
100%.
He went to coach in China at some points before coming to... So he knew the ins and outs of the Congolese, especially players in Europe. Sorry. He went to approach them. I remember when he came, he had like a list of 100 players. that were not coming to Congo. He made a list of over 100 players. He tried his best with a non-existent federation. He tried to call your Kebano, your Bokila, he tried to bring in a new generation. For me, it was massive. It was actually the start of the Congo. He actually paved the way for us to be in the World Cup. Let's not lie.
That's true.
He paved the way. He made sure that the country was taken from zero into some way for the Sabres to finally come and find something. And he also added a stone. For me, the pillar of or the key person into this World Cup is Ibenge.
True.
The key. Many people will probably say this guy's biased or this guy doesn't know football. I'm a coach. I know what I know. I see what I see. And I'm speaking as a coach. I respect that guy. I respect him. Now, moving into goals. The difference between the current drought and with Ibenge was Ibenge's era. Ibenge had the golden generation.
True.
He had matured players. Players came matured. Your Makiadi.
And they were all leaders, eh?
They were leaders, but they were a bit older. Unfortunately, we didn't live to see them.
And yeah.
The top player that Congolese people don't mention. Do you know who it is?
Mention?
It's the midfielder from England. The guy from Lubumbashi.
Is that Magoma?
Who?
Magoma.
Jacques Magoma. That guy is a baller. It's unfortunate he came when he was already, I think, 29, 30.
Yeah.
Top class player. We don't have someone like that up to now. Your Makiadi, we don't have someone of that nature. So Ibenge was lucky enough to have matured players of that generation, and Mbokani was as he speak as well. He was scoring goals left, right, center. Unfortunately, the Sabre came when Bakambu is declining a little bit. So also it's all about profiles as well. Each coach has his own profile.
Yeah.
Coach Ibenge was more of strength, based on the players that we had, the midfielders that we had. Remember, Mputu was on and off. We didn't have Mputu back then, like on a,
Yeah.
So we had Kebano, we had, who else was playing as a number 10? The guy that just retired now.
We had Jack Magoma.
Paul Boku. Yes, those were our number 10 right there. So with Bokila, with Bakambu, with Bolasi, with Mbokane, the type of football that we had then was to play the ball long. Mbokane is gonna hold it for us,
and it was also about speed because you had Makiadi, Bolasi on both
Mahabwati, very short and quick.
Mahabwati on the left, Kebano. Bolasi on the right, and then Kebano right behind the striker.
Yes,
that team was amazing.
It was, man. They made us. It's really unfortunate that we missed the World Cup with those guys.
And the last time that Congo ever won anything was back in 1974.
Yes.
And with that era, we at least won the bronze in 2015.
Yes,
unfortunately. We
had won it, I think, in Togo when we beat, in Burkina Faso.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I think,
in 2000 or 2000 and 1990 something, 1999, yeah,
or 99, somewhere there.
With the golden generation of Mama Lee and then
yeah. So we saw them replicating it. I think that generation was golden, but then after that, a lot of players left.
Yeah,
and the AFCON in SA in 2012. After that, more players left.
For me, that was an embarrassing AFCON because we had no structure, no vision with Claude Leroy. It was just embarrassing. We had names, Patu, Alain Kaluituka, Trésor Mputu, Mbokani, nanana, but the structure wasn't there.
Not only structure, I'm reading now that during Claude Leroy's era, he's not the one that was making the starting 11.
Look, I also
Did you hear about it?
I did not hear, but I watched an interview.
Yes.
But sometimes when people do interviews about certain coaches, the coach is not there to defend himself.
True.
So we cannot really take that into consideration.
No. But these ones are players that played under him.
True, like I'm saying. But now it's their word against
his.
You
but again, I believe it.
Okay.
You know why? Because there was a guy who was at the head of. We know him. We all know him. We all know his character.
Yeah.
Even up to now, he's still a little bit agitated. Because he spoke just before the guys went to the World Cup. He spoke. He's like, no, the coach should be coming back to the country to explain his plans, to explain why he put this starting 11. You are the president of the federation. What do you have to do in the starting 11 of a coach?
It's none of your business.
Why should I come and explain to you why I put this player, why I put that player?
So it's the same problem that we have. You hear people saying, hey, il faut avoir des joueurs locaux dans l'équipe nationale. Mais des joueurs locaux avec quel championnat? For instance, yes, there are good players. We can name Bongeli in the Congolese league. You can name a few. Bongeli.
I mean, he's still a kid.
Liz Nyembo. You can name a few. Okay? But now, do you really think Matobo is way better than... Never mind. It's okay.
No, speak, man. Let's be free.
If I have to ask a question.
Yes.
Do you really think Matobo is better than our current left winger?
Well, I wouldn't say better because, firstly, I can't even... There's no league for me to say, you know what, let's see this kid if he's really good or not. The league is non-existent, first of all. So I'm not going to place him anyway. Because I'm not going to place him anyway because the league is non-existent first.
The Sabre is biased.
No.
Local players and so forth. Why? So many questions.
Forget that.
Now, for instance, even when we were looking at goalkeepers department, TP Mazembe was known for having a legend in goal post, Robert Kidiaba, right? We name after Kidiaba. Name me one goalkeeper in our league who has done better than Kidiaba.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Kidiaba is the only keeper that has lasted more than, I think, 15, close to 20 years.
It's been there with Pascal Kalemba, may
soul rest in peace.
Soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
Alain Kizamba.
He has seen all those ones.
I'm telling you.
Your Matampi coming, but...
For me, no insult or no, I can't criticize. But for me, Matampi was not a goalkeeper. I'm sorry. For me, he was not a good. He had a chance to have a good defense, especially when he was at DCMP as a young keeper. My guy, back then you had
in the national team
you had the defense of the country. Our name, Gladys Bokese, Joel Kimwaki, Issa Mampeko. So for me, Matampi was not really a good keeper. He was just lucky to play in an era where he had a good defense.
Not only that, I feel like it was in an era where we didn't have better. True. Okay. We didn't have better.
Tell me more about it. Tell me more.
Look, during his era, Matampi, I think, was the first keeper. The second keeper was... Who was the second keeper?
Kiasumbwa.
Who didn't have a club.
And then we had... was it Mandanda?
Mandanda didn't have a club either.
So
he was probably the only keeper active. So there was no choice there. No. I think Kiasumbwa came after him because Kiasumbwa kept playing even without a club. Yeah. I think it was just before him.
No, Kiasumbwa was actually the second choice. Though he was playing,
yes,
he was already playing in Switzerland, I think.
Yeah. Okay. We didn't have better. whether it's Kasumba or him. I think we didn't have a better keeper then. And because he was playing the league more constantly, and the league was a little bit better then, it was dying at that time, but it was okay. So he was very lucky to have a good defense of Joel Kimwaki in the national team. Mbemba was playing in the mid.
As a six defensive.
As a six. So for me, he's not the greatest keeper, to be honest with you. He wasn't the greatest keeper, though he kept us, for a couple of years. He did what he had to do, and his time finished.
So, do you think that our national team will do wonders in the World Cup?
Okay, coming back to the World Cup, at the moment, we're actually talking about the drought up front. For me, it's all about profiles. I feel like the Sabre is limited a little bit in terms of the profile that he's looking for, because when you look at the players that he has, it does not have much options as opposed to Ibenge. Ibenge was spoiled with choices at some point.
Yeah, true.
He was spoiled with choices. Like, he had to a point where he was playing Mbemba in the midfield because we had defenders everywhere. Luindama was playing in Turkey. At that time he was on fire.
He never convinced me that one.
Look, I was in Turkey when he was playing in Turkey, and I watched his games. The guy was a beast at some point.
Yeah, he was good, but he was
personally
never got.
Okay, in the national team, he never really replicated some games that he didn't live up to his expectations. I feel like he did well in Belgium. He went to I think Gala. He didn't do as great, but then we wanted him to do more, but we didn't see it. Yeah. Especially in the national team, he was a little bit more quiet. Yeah. He was, he wasn't really what we wanted.
100%.
Unfortunately, but he was just okay. He also lived a short period of time. It was a very short career for him. Unfortunately, very short career, and no one is there to actually remember him.
Yeah, true.
You can't remember Luindama in the national team. That's very unfortunate.
You can, especially against
the bad memory. The bad memory. Yeah, the bad memory against Morocco. Oh my goodness, that game was like, I don't know how heavy he was. He was usually someone. Okay, I had one problem with him. Coming to TP Mazembe, apparently he was a midfielder, and then he was transformed to a striker, something like that, and he went back in the, he had this physical posture. Instead of playing football, he was focusing more on his body, that they can shove off players, but smarter players used to kill him. That's one problem that I had with him as a center back that I also used to play. I know that he played at the highest level, but there are certain things that that he had that were a little bit school kids mistakes. In football we call them high school mistakes. Wait, play the ball, don't play the man. For me, those are the things that I could probably reprimand him just to be a better player. So coming to the World Cup, at the moment, the coach does not have much players, especially up front. No options, bro. It's Bakambu, Banza, Mayele. Who's the other guy? Isende. We have 4 strikers. But when you count the amount of goals they have scored, you'll cry. You're gonna cry because it's only one player that has scored. Banza has never scored.
In the national
Banza, no, he has never scored in
an official game,
He only scored in a friendly game.
Yeah, some friendlies against Madagascar. You can name a few.
Yes, you can name a few. Essende has never scored.
Against Mali, he scored the winning goal.
Wait, what?
We played Mali
in the friendly game.
No, friendly in France.
Yes. So, I'm talking about official game.
No, official, not yet.
Not yet. Maele, yes, he has scored here and there. And crucial goals. But I don't think it's more than 10. I think he has scored less than 10 goals. So going to the World Cup with such such a data that the strikers are scoring less than 10 goals. That's worrying.
Yeah.
That's worrying. I know there's Afemeko Pululu, who's also coming. I'm not sure about his case, but I feel like it could help if he's called, because we can't really rely more on Bakambu. The guy is almost 35 now.
Yeah.
You can, so you can only wait for him to come off the bench, maybe to just change something up. But the profile that Congo needed at the moment that we don't have. Yes, who?
Tell me.
Bokane. A lot of people used to insult him. This guy can play. Bruv, best striker we've ever had. In terms of the style of the Congolese football, someone who keeps the ball.
And he knew how to position himself.
He knew, yeah. Top scorer, bro. He knew how to position. Yes, he had his hiccups as well, where it was easy for him to score, he will miss. Where it's tough, he scores. Unfortunately. Yeah. But in terms of the flowing of the game, he used to give us more than any striker at the moment. At the moment, he used to hold the ball for us, because it's only now we kind of having flamboyant midfielders who can play better, but we need that profile. Yeah. Because games are not the same. At the moment, we don't have a striker that can hold the ball, because games are different. Like I say, some games can be tough. We just need the top man to hold the ball so that the midfielders can join. But we don't have that. Bakambu does not have the body for that. Bakambu, you can't give him an aerial ball. There's nothing he can do with it. He's short. He wants space. That's his style of football. Maybe Banza can hold it a little bit. I've seen it, but not as good as Mbokani used to do.
Yeah.
I feel like we are missing that puzzle. I feel like would be a better player right now. To just fill in the gap and to make sure that we score goals in from crosses, because now who's scoring?
Yeah, defenders, Chancel, Tonzebe, Maswaku.
And back then we had Mbokane, we had Bokila, we had Americani, who was also good in area balls. Yes. Now you can't cross the ball anyhow. Meshak was known to cross the ball. He can cross it to who? For who to score? So you can see Bolasi was good, but not in crossing. He was taking on player, one-on-one, shoot. We don't have that anymore, unfortunately. Anyways, we're going to do with what we have. For now, I feel like the coach doesn't have much. He's not spoiled with choices, so we can't do magic. We're just going to the World Cup for the first time. Let's go and try. Let's go and try, because we're playing Portugal first. Portugal, bro.
Yeah.
Many people don't understand it's Portugal. It's not a small team.
Yeah, true.
When you look at their starting 11, world-class players.
Yo.
From the goalkeeper to the last substitute.
So it's a problem,
World-class.
It's a problem.
So we have players who are trying, but again, I'm not going to take anything away. Those players can also do it. They are men. Men are supposed to be, men. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can play against world-class players and do something about it. I remember Senegal.
If Senegal can do it, why not?
Senegal can do it against France.
And Senegal did it also not long ago, friendly game against England. And
and Brazil.
Mind you, England had all their stars on the field and they lost 3-1. So nothing is impossible in football.
Yeah, but then the only difference is Senegal has world-class players now.
Yeah.
They have top-class players in top teams.
True.
But again, it doesn't mean anything.
But remember,
Congo played against them.
And remember, Congo is the only team in AFCON who did not lose against Senegal. And True. I watched an interview 2 days ago. The goalkeeper of Le Havre in France, who was the second choice to Edouard Mendy, said it was actually, for me, it was emotional, motivational at the same time. Yeah. He said something very important and crucial. He said, the game against Congo in Kinshasa at Stade de Martyrs was actually the toughest game that we played in the entire campaign.
Yes.
Because they played us in Senegal. It was also tough. 1-1. We came to Kinshasa, we were leading 2-0. Congolese being Congolese, and we know exactly what happened. And we lost. And that was the booster for our national team. We had to lose that game. Because if we did not lose the game, then it could have been difficult for the coach to see des lacunes des joueurs, parce qu'il y avait beaucoup de joueurs qui n'ont pas malheureusement bien joué ce jour-là. Il y a beaucoup qui étaient under requirement. So for me, that was also a good test. It actually opened the eyes of the coach to know who to rely on. You understand? So for me, I believe that that was a good test, and now Congo is not a team to introduce to anyone. Give us any team. Yes, Sadiki made a joke about it when we beat Nigeria. He's like, hey, donnez-nous Brésil. So it shows that we're not a team to introduce to anyone anymore. So for me, I believe that in the World Cup, we are going to shock a lot of people. A lot of people think we are outsiders. Maybe they're like, Congo will play against Portugal, and then Portugal it will be like taking a candy out of a baby's mouth. But trust you me, those players fought to get there.
Yes. So the one thing that I admire about the Congolese current national team is that these people have formed like a brotherhood.
Important,
yeah. And it's very important as a team, to form that, because it's easy to fight for each other, and this is what they have done. They are not the top class players in the world, but they are a proper structured team. And for me, the coach just needs to add up a little bit of players here and they just like tweak,
Warren Bondo,
Pululu, in the left back.
Left back, you mentioned the name.
There's Bola.
Jeremy Ngakia is a right back, ne?
Ngakia is a right back.
Yeah, so he can actually be une doublure pour Bissaka.
Yes.
And then we just need a proper left back.
We need 2 left backs. I know Maswaku might not be out of the team because of the fact that he's been there for long. But look, I prefer we get someone a bit better, because there are names that are there, but I'm not sure if the coach is going to call him. There is Loco, who plays somewhere in Europe. There is Bola.
Yeah, Mark Bola for Watford.
Mark Bola. There is Makengo. He played yesterday against Real Betis.
Okay.
Who's also a left back.
Okay.
There's also another one that I'm forgetting, a proper left back. He also plays, I think, in Bundesliga. Something like that. I feel like those are the options the coach has on the left back side. I think we need someone who's a little bit more.
We need speed.
Is a bit more defensive than Maswaku is.
Yeah.
I feel like we can probably keep Maswaku, but in a different shape.
Yes.
Maswaku is better when we play 3-5, Him is a left wing back, because he can dribble, he can take on players easily, he can lose the ball, but he has coverage. But as a left back, at times he tends to gamble a lot.
Yeah.
As a coach, I feel like he's gambling a lot, and that can catch up to the team. And we saw it against Senegal. He tried to gamble, and then we saw what.
Yeah, 100%. And Lavia from Chelsea, I was watching something yesterday, and he was called. Apparently, he was called by the federation. They spoke to him already, and they have ongoing discussions. And Semi Mayulu, apparently his father is finally accepted, so they still have to finalize in terms of him getting a passport and so forth. So we have a lot of players, but now it goes back to what you said earlier: structure. When the structure is not there, how can these players come?
That's the thing. For me, it goes back to the federation. I really don't want to go back there again, because it's demoralizing.
Yeah.
It's actually irritating, because I cannot wait for the elections.
Same as me.
I cannot wait for the election, and I'm praying the right people are there. to make sure that there's continuity, there's life after the World Cup, because everyone is picturing the World Cup as alpha and omega.
It's not like that.
It's not the end. It's actually the beginning of things. So the question is, after the World Cup, where do we go?
100%.
Are we going to have the same hunger? Because after the World Cup, there will not be Bakam, who will no longer be there. Mbemba will no longer be there. Meshak will no longer be there. Maswaku will no longer be there.
You can name a few, eh?
Even the left back as well, the current one.
Joris.
Joris is already 32, I think.
32 years.
Yeah, he's already 32. You can already see the age has gone forward. The team has to be, the younger ones have to take over.
100%.
So,
like even Theo is 30, so
you know what I'm saying.
After the World Cup, it's going to be a bit of a
most
problem.
of these players after the World Cup, actually, this is their last chance.
100%.
To showcase. Because after the World Cup, we need to refresh. We need to, a reset button needs to be, has to be done. So the coach has to start now. The federation has to help the coach.
Yeah.
It's not the coach's duty to go and call players. He needs to be spoiled with choices.
100%.
Even you just mentioned Lavia right now. He played for Belgium already. But
he was playing for the junior teams, I think.
No, I heard that I'm not sure if he played.
But remember, for him to be eligible to play for the Congolese national team, it's only if he did not play an official game.
I think he played a friendly game.
Yeah, a friendly game doesn't count, but an official game, then that's it.
Yes, but then the only challenge is going to be the period in which the federation...
true.
Yeah, that period sometimes
5 years, 3 years. Oof.
No, like I'm saying to you, we are amateur. No, at the moment, amateur. Because when I look at other federations, their players take a few minutes. Well, not minutes, but it takes less time than it takes the Congolese Federation for someone to change the nationality. I don't know what is happening there, if they don't know what to do, if their emails are not working. I don't know. But for other federations, it goes a little bit faster than the Congolese ones. So if Lavia is an option for the coach, go for him straight away. Go for him. Yeah. For me, Seni Mayulu, even though he's not playing at the moment, is a player of the future. It could be a good option as well. A very good option.
100%.
If everything is okay, obviously. But overall, the coach just has to, the team that we have, it's a very good team. We just need to introduce a few players just to, to cover those things. We just saw them at top number 9 at the moment.
And the number 10.
And at number 10. We don't have a top. We don't have. So the coach can make magic.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so we can only rely on the defenders to score.
Unfortunately. So, ladies and gentlemen, merci de nous avoir suivis et n'oubliez pas de nous laisser en commentaire les solutions pour essayer de changer les choses à la fédération congolaise et aussi sur notre football. That was it from me and Coach Randy Luca. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Sam.
Deuces.
Peace out.